Hello, this is Brett from SurvivalComms. Today we're going to talk about the Starlink Mini. One of the largest tasks in EmComm today is the restoration of data or setting up field deployable data solutions to support operations. Whereas a few short years ago, one had to rely upon two-man carry VSAT flyaway kits, trailers, and things of that nature for field deployable data solutions, along comes Starlink, which soon set the satellite data industry on its ear. I personally have been a Starlink subscriber for several years now and remember being on a waiting list for longer than a year before that. A couple of hurricane seasons ago, the state got several Starlinks and fielded them with great success. You know, it's now possible to set up a small EOC with the portable PBX, IP phones, laptops, and accessory gear that occupies the same transport footprint as a VSAT flyaway kit did in the past. Now, before we get too far down the rabbit hole, many are going to scoff about the data speed performance and the expensive service of the Starlink network when they compare it to available 5G cable and fiber data solutions in the urban landscape. Now, where I live, Starlink is the best of the three data options available to me, and I subscribe to all three and have had the ability to put them up against one another. For me personally and professionally, the expense is worth it because the Starlink network provides a service that no other provider does. Starlink provides high-speed data almost anywhere in the world with almost no technical effort for the end user and independent of any local infrastructure. So let's talk about the device itself. Starlink Mini weighs 3 pounds 10 ounces. It is 12 by 10 by 1.5 inches, which is smaller than this laptop. The Starlink Mini runs on DC from 12 to 48 volts, consuming 60 watts of power according to the device itself. The power supply that is provided with the device is a 30-volt power supply, and it includes 50 foot of cable. I'm fairly positive that the following is not a recommended accessory for the Starlink Mini, but I wanted to test the device at 12 volts, and I wanted to do so to be able to measure the current and have some kind of circuit protection also. So what I did was I created a power cable with a barrel connector and a fuse holder, and I wanted to keep it short because we're running it at 12 volts, which is the lower end of the power window for this particular device, and I was concerned about voltage drop over the 50 foot of provided cable. Current draw for the Starlink Mini starts out around 3 amps, 3.2 amps, and now it's tapered off to about 2 amps. The Starlink Mini features a built-in Wi-Fi router, and of course setting up a Starlink, if you haven't done it before, is a snap with the app using the Wi-Fi connection. The Wi-Fi router in the Starlink Mini is not very powerful, and typically the range that I got is between 12 to 1500 square foot. Now, the built-in Ethernet port allows you to easily plug this into a mesh network or something of that nature if you desire to expand the coverage footprint. So what kind of speed can we anticipate out of the Starlink Mini? Well, this is a screenshot of the test through the Wi-Fi router of the Starlink Mini, and it's certainly not screaming level performance, but I mean it's good for satellite data. And you have to consider the fact that just about all of my neighbors around me utilize Starlink as a primary source of data, so your mileage may vary. Now that we're done with that, we will test a couple of common communications restoration functions with the Starlink Mini. The first is providing data for an IP telephone, providing telephone connectivity in the absence of local infrastructure. The second is providing data for a Verizon 4G LTE network extender, providing cellular coverage. Plugging in an analog telephone adapter, such as this Groundstream HT801, and just this inexpensive analog phone handset, and you have a fully functioning satellite telephone. And the Starlink Mini is providing data for this Verizon network extender, and it's working well. In closing, it's easy to see just how useful the Starlink network is from an emergency management standpoint, and specifically the compact profile of the Mini in rapid requirement temporary support roles. An entire kit to support a small task will easily fit into this camera bag, and that in an environment deprived of local infrastructure is invaluable. I hope this helps. This is Brett from SurvivalComms. Till next time.